Good morning. I hope this works today without being all fuzzy. If not, we'll just do what we did yesterday and re-record. Good morning. It is time for just a word from the Word. I apologize for being a little late. Computer issues, y'all. Today's passage comes from a very familiar chapter and verse. I'm going to be reading from 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15, and this is in the King James. Here's what it says. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. I don't know if any of you know who Elizabeth Elliot is or Jim Elliot. They were missionaries to Ecuador, and the Lord had called them to reach an unreached tribe in Ecuador. It was a backwards tribe. They call themselves now the Waodani. But they were a very vicious, very inhumane tribe. And perhaps you've even seen the movie End of the Spear that describes what happened to Jim Elliot and his 5 other fellow missionaries. They gave their lives for the truth. But one thing that Elizabeth Elliot would tell of her deceased husband, Jim, was that when Jim was in college, he had purposed in his heart that not only was he going to get a degree from the college, but that he wanted to make sure he had an AUG degree. He was referring to 2 Timothy 2:15, where the Apostle Paul told Timothy that he needed to study in order to be approved unto God. As I pondered this last night and this morning, the cry of my heart is to be approved unto God. I want that AUG degree. Now, I am seeking a current degree. By the Lord's help, I'll have that degree by the end of October of next year, and then I'll continue education. But whether I ever get that degree or not, the degree I'm seeking on a daily basis is an AUG degree. Prayer is right and it's good, but prayer is a matter of relationship. To be approved unto God, the apostle tells us that we are to study, that we are to rightly divide the word of truth. In other words, not just read it and say what we think that it means, but to study, to dig into what God is really trying to say to us. Studying takes time. It takes effort. It takes us wanting and being willing to dig in to understand the word. That's the kind of degree that I'm seeking. What about you? I've often prayed here, I don't know, in the last several months, I found myself praying, God, at the day of judgment, I want you to look at me and I want you to say, well done, good and faithful servant. I want to hear him say that. But I don't want to wait until judgment day to hear that. And I believe that I have biblical precedents for asking to hear that before the day of judgment. There are 2 distinct times in the life of Jesus where God basically said, well done. You and I need to be sure that we are hearing well done from God on a pretty regular basis. How do we hear that? How do we attain that AUG degree? Well, yes, we study the word, but spend that time in prayer. Spend that time in the word of God. Ask him to order your steps. For if we're walking in the steps that he's called us to walk in, we will be approved unto God. if we are walking in the ways that He is leading us, we will be approved unto God. Pray. Study the Word. Ask the Lord to help you understand what His Word is speaking. And then seek to follow in His steps. And I believe you'll obtain that AUG degree. This morning's Just a Word from the Word is me just encouraging you to pursue an AUG degree. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow.